Mad Cats won't be seen tonight, so we can bring you a very special episode of The Gen X Files. Welcome to The Gen X Files. I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
And it's another little edition of
For the Stepdads. We're going to talk about more animation.
Yeah.
More fun stuff we didn't get to with our 3 episodes about Charles Schultz and Chuck Jones and...
Matt Groening.
Thank you. Matt Groening, yeah. Yeah.
Hey, so what are you playing?
I'm still playing Valhalla. I'm almost done with it. Yeah.
Hey, man, you've been playing that for a long time.
Yeah.
I still jump in day to day.
It's I'm definitely in the third act.
Yeah, it's a long game.
I'm not super thrilled with how it's ending so far, so we'll see.
Well, I will keep you posted.
Yeah.
On this journey that you've been on for years.
Yeah, it feels like it. I mean, it's to the point where I was complaining about this yesterday. Like, some stuff happened, and I was like, how am I supposed to remember what happened 5 months ago?
Yeah, like 150
I don't remember what happened. So it's like, they need like a recap.
That's
or
what I was
something.
going to say. Yeah. There was a game. What was it? Was it Alan Wake or something that had like chapter recaps?
Yeah, I think Alan Wake did that.
That was like episodic.
And actually Control, the same company.
Yeah.
I think they did that a little bit. Like there was stuff that kind of explained
Previously
at least what's going on.
Alan Wake.
Well, it wasn't quite. I mean, it was kind of like that, but just enough to be like, hey, by the way, here's things that's happening.
For old stoners like us who can't remember anything.
Just so much. Well, especially in something like Valhalla, because you're grinding constantly.
And you not only have like the actual story and what's going on, but you have the animus.
Yeah, the side stuff. And
modern day story that's going on concurrently.
I love the Assassin's Creed franchise, but they have gotten so overly complicated with... And now they're starting to bring back stuff from the previous regimes, like the Desmond stuff from Italy and all that things. And it's just like, it's a lot.
It's a lot of bang for your buck, though.
No, totally. I mean, God knows I've been playing the game for 5 months. Like
it's really fun. They just released some expansion. I'm going to wait on that.
Yeah. I'm going to be tapped out on Valhalla after this, I think.
I've been playing a lot of Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah. It was released on the PS5 recently, and it's awesome. It's exactly what I was hoping it would be when it came out so disappointingly 2 years ago. Or
beyond
how long ago.
That little speed bump with the...
2 years ago?
2 years ago. It was 2 years ago, yeah. Yeah, and beyond that little speed bump at the beginning.
Yeah, there was a couple of little glitches that were annoying, but I haven't run into too many, and I found that like some of the stuff, like there's some weird... I play it with headphones, and sometimes like some audio tracks stick.
Oh, yeah.
And there was this one that you go after these cyber psychos. They're people whose like cybernetic brain things have gone all wonky, and you got to take them down. You got to try to take them down, take them alive, man, because it's not their fault, baby.
Oh, well,
but
okay.
So there was this one, and she was like, it was like this creepy, mysterious thing, and she'd be like,
and it's just...
And then for the rest of like, it was like, in my ear, it was so creepy. And then if you save and then get out of the game and then come back in, usually it'll fix all that stuff if you sleep in your apartment or whatever. But it was just like
weird. Oh, it just kept going. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. But it's been a super fun game.
Cool.
Really engrossing, really great. The new GTA PlayStation 5 version came out yesterday of this recording.
Yeah. They dropped the new. I say dropped. I mean, God knows it had the nice countdown going to it. It was not the easiest thing to migrate the account to the PS5.
No, but not that big.
But I think it's because everybody was doing it at 9 o'clock last night.
Yeah, it was a little stressful because you could only migrate your character once.
Yeah, and you talk about playing games for a long time.
Yeah,
I mean, this is
from the beginning. Yeah,
third generation of console with 8 years, 9 years since the game's come out.
I played it on all three. I played it on PS3, PS4, PS5.
I did. It was the 360 first, and then the PS4, and then the PS5.
But when you went from PS3 to PS4, you could still play on the PS3 with your buddies. It didn't wipe out your character, but now completely wipes out your character.
My God, there's a screen saying if you do this, it will eliminate everything previously.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, okay.
It was a little nerve-wracking, but it went through, and it looks really pretty, and there's a lot of new fun stuff.
But you had certain settings that you put it on for your...
Yeah, I found that Performance RT, which is like ray tracing performance, it's kind of a hybrid of like the 60 frames per second versus just ray tracing performance, which is beautiful. It seems to be the most
okay. And this is with your 4K TV.
Yes,
like with my 1080 TV, I don't know if it'll work or not.
No, but it's still going to look great.
Yeah,
and it's still going to run a lot faster. I mean, you're still going to get 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
Regardless of your monitors.
Yeah, I played with the story mode a little bit last night, and it definitely looks amazing.
Oh,
It's very smooth.
It'll be fun to play through that again.
Yeah, for the fourth time.
I know, right? I know.
It's a great story, though. It's worth it.
It's super fun. Yeah. Look, I'm ready for 6. I'm ready for the next iteration. But hey, man, it's a gorgeous looking game. It's so much fun to play, and I'm looking forward to jumping back in.
I'm really hoping that they finally port over the first Red Dead Redemption. That'd be nice. I'd love to play through that again.
Yeah. That's another thing. Red Dead Redemption 2 came out a few years ago, and one of my favorite games of all time. Mm-hmm. I really want a PS5 version of that because I want to replay that again.
Yeah.
But yeah, and they need a PS5 version of the online. They need to do the online is so great and so different, and there's a lot of fans that love it, and because it's not like GTA. GTA is just it's so much fun to be on with your friends and do the heists and all that stuff. But if you're playing in a open server, you're just going to get a bunch of little jerks that are blowing you up, and it's mayhem. It's like Free Guy, It's like mayhem.
Yeah.
But Red Dead, the players are a little bit more reserved, and sometimes you just find somebody and you go off and do a bunch of bounties and stuff together. Like when I would play regularly, you would just find people and you would go off and do stuff, and it would be fun. And very rarely would there be trolls.
Yeah, it was interesting because there would be hours where you could be playing online, and then I'd look at the server and be like, "Oh, there's 20 other people here," and I'd never see anybody.
Yeah, it was very much how you want to play it, and it's a shame. It's profitable, so I'm hoping that there's going to be some. Rockstar's cagey. They're pretty tight-lipped about everything.
Yeah.
It was weird that they said they acknowledged the fact that GTA 6 was coming out in a tweet.
Right.
Because that's not very much. I think that was kind of a desperate attempt to be like, sorry about the ports of the older, because they've
been getting some pretty bad press. So
it's not. Well, okay, it is their fault for hiring the company that did the pretty much just. They took the iOS ports of the original 3 GTA games, GTA 3, San Andreas, and Vice City, and made them for the next generation. And it was just plagued with problems. It was just nothing but garbage. And it's because it wasn't a Rockstar product. They farmed it out, but it's still their responsibility.
But it's still exactly.
Hopefully they learned a lesson. Yeah.
It's exactly what Matt Groening did. He didn't give over his original creations because he knew they would be screwed up.
Yes.
So he sketched something out real quick and said, "Just do whatever with it."
Exactly.
And and granted, it worked out for him. but that's at the end of the day, I will blame Rockstar because they should have had better control over it.
Sure. I just I think they've gone through some changes. Dan Houser left. They've gone through some definite changes. I think the fact that GTA 5 has been so unbelievably profitable. I think it's number 1 or 2 of the most profitable entertainment entity of all time.
Yeah.
And I get it. If you could just, keep working that magic, why not? If you're making $1 billion a year just on shark cards.
I mean, look at Skyrim.
Yeah.
They've been doing that for 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but, I think we're going to see something about GTA 6 soon. I think it's going to be amazing. It always is. I'm not worried.
I hope so.
It's just it is disappointing when the cream of the crop, like CD Projekt Red, who made Cyberpunk 2077, made one of my favorite games of all time. Yours too, The Witcher 3.
The Witcher 3,
which was just a flawless, beautiful game.
Yeah.
Which is coming out too, which I can't.
Yeah, that I'm fun, excited to play through.
And they lost a lot of so. Yeah. There was I pre-ordered Cyberpunk because I had no doubts that it was going to be a perfect game because of their track record of the company. And then, they messed up.
Yeah. But they've done
responded
to it well.
I think we talked about this before.
Yeah.
There was a company called Hello Games that released a game called No Man's Sky with all these promises of, it's just an ending game of procedurally generated planets and all this stuff.
Potentially groundbreaking.
Yeah, and it was none of that when it was released. It was a huge disappointment. But over the years, they have supported that game for free.
Yeah,
and turned it into a really amazing game. And I think that's kind of what CD Projekt Red has done with Cyberpunk. It's really, it's so engrossing and fun to play. So that's what we're playing.
Yes.
We watched on Saturday. We watched Red. Was it Red? Is that the name?
Turning Red.
Turning Red.
Yeah.
Red is a great movie.
Red is a great movie too. Yeah, but no, different movie. Very different movie.
Both of the Red and Red 2. I love them.
Oh, they were great. Yeah.
But Red, the animated
Turning Red.
Turning Red, Jesus.
The new Pixar movie.
Yeah, by the people that did Bow.
Yeah.
It was real cute.
It was great.
Yeah.
I liked the animation was fantastic because it looked almost claymation, but not quite.
Yeah.
Certain aspects were, but to me, the best thing about it was the little girl and her 3 friends.
Yes.
They were so incredible.
And
they
it
were
had
so fun.
And it had an anime edge to it, where the faces would do very anime things, and it very much embraced the culture and the pains and the embarrassment of changing bodies.
Yeah.
Going through changes, puberty.
Yeah.
And an overbearing mother, and and all sorts of things. But mom's overbearing for a reason because she had a mom too.
Yeah. It was really good. I thought it was done really well. I enjoyed it.
But the friends were great. One of the little friends totally reminded us of a friend of ours.
Yeah.
So much so it was distracting. But it was really cute. Check it out. It's on Disney.
It's on Disney Plus. Yeah.
I haven't seen the Adam Project yet. I heard that's really good.
Oh, really? I haven't heard anything, so I have no idea.
I would think that you would watch it right away because it has your name in it.
I would assume so, but no.
You get really excited when things have your name in it.
Yeah.
You watch Adam's Rib like 3 times a week.
Yeah, and there's a movie just called Adam that has Ewan McGregor in it, and also has one of the weirdest sex scenes I've ever seen in a movie.
Wow, appropriate then.
A lot of food involved. It's very weird. Yeah,
just like you.
Yeah,
you like bringing in your hoagies,
all
and
the
your
Adams,
grinders,
my hoagies, my grinders,
and your big old bowl of mashed potatoes,
a little bit of Grey Poupon.
Oh yeah, and some gravy.
I did finally finish watching Night Court.
Nice.
Which was interesting. The ending was super bizarre because they thought they were coming back from the season and then they didn't.
Yeah.
It was weird.
There was no Magnum outcry for
not for Night Court, unfortunately. Although I finally started watching. I watched the pilot for Resident Alien, which was really good. I like Alan Tudyk a lot. Although he's in everything now, so I was trying to let that go, but he's fantastic. He's just so good, and the supporting cast is great.
It's a show that I started, and I definitely want to continue, but you get so distracted. You also started watching the Harley Quinn animated series.
I finished the Harley Quinn animated series.
That's so good. If you haven't seen it, it's on HBO Max. There's 2 seasons. The 3rd season's coming this year sometime. It's
totally standalone. Some very, very interesting, shocking things happen in it that I wasn't expecting.
It's adult. It's very adult. Don't watch it with your kids.
No. But there is a 3rd season coming. I do... Part of me wishes I had waited just to see all of it because I think the 3rd season is going to be the last.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see where they go with it, and it's good.
It's really good, and again, it's more adult animation.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
There's a lot. There's another show on HBO. It's very simple that I watched. I think it's a Cartoon Network or a Adult Swim show.
Okay.
And it's I can't even remember what it is, so we'll probably cut this. But it was very funny.
I did also watch the Boys Diabolical. The shorts. The Boys shorts were also incredibly violent.
Yes, and also and very interesting because they got a lot of different animators and filmmakers to do it. And Seth Rogen and Adam Goldberg did one that was very, very Looney Tunes.
Yeah. It was a
very Charles Fleischer
no
type.
Dialogue at all.
Baby's Day Out.
Yeah. It was great because there was an episode that was written by Aisha Wright and Andy Samberg wrote an episode.
Justin Roiland.
It was. Oh, definitely you can tell that Justin Roiland. Yeah. That was.
Well, you can always tell with the eyes with him.
Oh, and the mouth. As soon as they get the sad face with the weird droopy fish lips. Yeah.
And the star eyes.
Yeah, but they're really fun, and none of them's longer than 15 minutes, but they're super fun.
Incredibly gory.
Very violent.
So just be prepared to be grossed out, but in a really fun way. If you like that stuff, you'll love it. So
yes.
Back in the day, let's start with comic. Let's go chronologically. Yeah. So let's start with comic strips.
Yeah.
I don't think kids today. No, but seriously, I don't know. I don't think a lot of people get the paper, the physical paper.
No.
Sometimes the Sunday edition.
Yeah.
I really miss it. I always threaten to get it again.
Yeah.
But I never do. But I do want to. The last time I got it, it was so depressing because the paper was just like 8 pages.
Yeah.
So it was like printed on some weird paper, and it just didn't feel like a paper. But when we were kids, when I was a kid, we had like 2 or 3 papers. We had the San Diego Tribune, we had the Escondido Jibber Jabber, and the
great name for
Sim Sam Saboops, whatever we would get.
The names just get worse and worse.
And Sundays, man, that paper was like £8.
Oh yeah,
each.
Yeah.
And, I'd go out there with the forklift. Deep,
Yeah.
And I would get the papers and bring them in the house, and the old man would get up, and on some days he would, before church, he would go get donuts.
Yeah.
But then, because we're Catholic, you can't eat an hour before church, so it's just like we couldn't eat the donuts or whatever.
Oh, you had to wait till after.
I'm going to go to church. And then, and then you come home and then you read the paper and stuff. But then as I got older and stopped going to church, then it was just like, it was just donuts and comics, man.
Yeah.
But the comics back then were sections. They were their own sections. They were at least 5 pages of comics.
Oh, the Sunday. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Big old panels.
Yeah.
Different comics in each paper. It was just a smorgasbord of wonderful. This was like Bloom County time and Calvin and Hobbes time.
Yeah.
Really, I think the best time of comics was the 80s.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I'm not a big Snuffy Smith guy or a Brenda Starr or or a Rex Morgan MD.
Yeah.
But they had so many different. Everything was trying to be like the Far Side was going there. So we had this whole renaissance of very different esoteric cartoons that were very much the next level of Peanuts.
Yeah.
But the Peanuts still, the Peanuts never became like Family Circus,
right?
Or
right.
It never or Marmaduke. It never became benign and
those by nature are benign and plain.
But I mean, the Family Circus could hit it once in a moon.
It was always my favorite with in the Sunday section because it was in color, and the Family Circus. It would always be my favorite time when they did the whole like Billy walking around, and it was the whole panel was literally the whole top of the page, and then you'd fold it over, and the bottom would be the peanut stuff.
And you would just. Trace his trail, and
little
jump
trail,
over this and track the mud in.
Which is the only interesting thing about that comic was Jeffy walking around.
But it was a very wholesome little family. It was crazy that the last strip of Family Circus, it was in 2008, and the father was wiped out in the financial crisis, and instead of his family suffering through being homeless and everything, he shoots them all, and then himself, and then those little not me ghosts and whatever. Right before he kills himself, there's a little ghost with all the corpses are on the floor, and there's a little ghost next to him that's not who did it. The cops are like, who did it? And it's like, not me. And then bang, and then that was it. It was really weird. It was insane that he got all of that story into one panel.
Bill Keane is literally rolling over in his grave right now.
Yeah, well, he shouldn't have ended it that way. It's his choice.
Yeah. Might have been what he actually wanted to do during his life.
I would have liked to see that. Anyway, but yeah, there was a lot of great comics, and the old man would get these. We had this donut place that was just the donuts the size of your face.
Yeah.
There were these humongoid like cake donuts, with the crumbles on top and stuff, man. And you have that. Those were the times, that was like family time. I don't. There's a few really like neat, wholesome memories that I have.
Sure.
And this is one of them. And the comics go with it because the old man liked comics too. He enjoyed that. He loved the Peanuts. Not the Peanuts. He loved the Looney Tunes.
Looney Tunes, yeah.
So we could bond on that stuff. And, he liked the Muppets and stuff. So he did have a good sense of humor, and we could bond that way. And that's when I kind of realized that if I was funny...
Right.
I could, keep things cool.
Yeah.
So it was like a defense mechanism. But it was like, I learned from the best. I learned from the guys that made him funny, and that was Bugs Bunny, and that was, Abbott Costello and all those kind of guys. So it was just, It was just a fun time, sitting around reading the paper, passing the sections around, and nobody in our family read the sports section. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was funny because I would usually read the comics in the morning over a bowl of cereal, and my dad worked in construction, so he would get up and leave super, super early.
Yeah, same. Mine too.
It was always nice when I'd walk in and he'd still be there, and he'd just literally hand over the comic section to me while he's drinking his coffee, and I'd blearily pour cereal and try to read the comics. But yeah, it was a nice morning ritual, of getting ready to go, and the fact is I didn't even realize at the time, but they are there were challenging comics that I would read, and it would be kind of be pushing me towards being a better person, I guess.
Yeah.
But
you did not lie like little Jeffy.
No,
you didn't say the not me's.
No,
didn't have the not me ghost.
No, I didn't. Paint the walls with spaghetti.
Biscotti and meat bulbs.
Yeah.
As I got older, too, when I would come back and visit the old man, we'd go out to breakfast. We had this great breakfast place in Escondido. There's a couple of them, man. And grab the papers, head out, same thing.
Just hang out.
Drink coffee. And he knew all the waitresses. And, they were all good. And they would make fun of each other. It was just, it was like,
fun.
she'd sit down in the booth. It was just that whole, familiarity thing. It was really fun. I mean, it was kind of Escondido was kind of a big, small town. It was a small town when we moved there, and it's gotten very big since. I haven't been back in, 20 years.
Yeah.
But, it was just, I really enjoyed the paper and the comics, and I really miss it. I really miss even up until 10, 15 years ago, I would get the paper, and I'd do the crossword puzzle, and I'd read the comics.
Yeah. It's even sooner than 10 years ago. It was, but it just gets to the point where it's just sad. It's just more depressing than it is informative, because it's just so paltry and just not.
Where's Funky Winkerbean?
I can't, you can't.
Crankshaft.
It just doesn't make sense now, because you can get your news instantaneously that a newspaper doesn't really do it. It just doesn't have the same effect anymore.
I can't read comics on a computer or a
telephone.
Same.
100%
It's just
agree.
It's not the same thing.
But that's not the main reason for getting the newspaper. I mean, that can be your main reason, but I think most people, they get it because of the news and reading the news.
The coupons.
And the coupons.
Circulars. Yeah. That was another thing, man. I remember getting the paper. This was when I was in a quote-unquote adult.
Yeah.
But I remember you get the Sunday paper and you go right to the Best Buy insert.
Oh, yeah.
What's coming out on Tuesday?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to have to get there's a new stuff. Rambo coming out on DVD.
Oh, yeah.
And this one has a commentary I've never heard before by the... oh, boy.
As much as I enjoyed to get reading the papers in the morning, I always loved coming home, and after school... Looney Tunes cartoons would be running for a good solid 2-hour block.
Yeah, we were really taken care of. I don't know what happened to my voice. We were really taken care of with cartoons as kids, because we would come home and we would have a whole afternoon block on a couple of 3 channels, you could choose from. And, Saturday morning, man, we had the run from about 6 to 11 of just solid tunage.
Yeah.
So, I mean, cartoons were such a huge part of our life, but we also, it is with kids today, but kids with children today, they're into Peppa Pig and all this stuff, but they just, they watch it on tablets, and they can watch it whenever they want, and they can watch whatever they want, whenever they want. Oh, you want to watch this Disney movie 400 times in a row? Go for it. We had to go to the theater if we wanted to see Bambi 400 times in a row, and none of our parents are going to spend all that money and take us there 400 times, so that never happened.
No parent is sitting through Bambi 400 times in a row.
That's child abuse and parent abuse. But it's just watching. Abuse. The parent takes them and they just leave after the mother gets shot every time. Appreciate me. I'm your mother. I can be shot like Bambi's mother. Now, let's go home and do your laundry. That was my friend Mickey's mom. We were spoiled with content, but we didn't have any control over it.
Yeah.
You had to either watch it or you didn't.
Yeah. And that's what made the Saturday morning so special, was that you waited all week because that was the time you got to see these.
Yeah.
And now, which is fine, and it's just different. But now it's, if you want to watch something, it's there, and you can watch it, and it's fine. But it does take away from that specialness
Yeah.
of having that time.
Yeah, but also on the flip side, if you would have told the 8-year-old, because I am not even joking, that the 8-year-old me had this dream of like having, what if I had like a box that I could just watch every piece of entertainment on?
Yeah.
I mean, we all had that wish. It wasn't
Yeah.
like I was, I was seeing into the future. But, oh man, I wish my video games looked like cartoons. I wish they looked like the box art. I wish. And, strangely enough, those are the wishes that came true. Not world peace. Not ending world hunger, not flying cars or completely green energy, but we do have unlimited entertainment and great video games, which honestly I prefer.
Yeah, well, you got it, man. That's where we're at. We're all gonna be drowning in 20 years, but hey, we can watch anything we want until then.
Hey, man, as long as the PS5 is waterproof.
Yeah.
Put a regulator in my mouth. That's me underwater.
When the cartoons came on in the afternoon, the one cartoon that I always looked for was Duck Amuck, because I loved that insight into like the process and the drawing and the weird meta-ness of it. Even when I was like 9, I had no idea why, but I knew I wanted to know more about how it was done.
There were a couple like that.
Yeah.
I think they did one with Bugs Bunny as well.
Yeah.
And I think Daffy Duck.
Yes.
No. It was Elmer Fudd was the guy that was doing. Ain't I a stinker?
Yeah.
Ain't I a stinker? But yeah, it was like those were great because yes, exactly. I loved breaking the fourth wall. Yeah. I loved being in on the joke. I loved people zigging when you think they're going to zag. Things that are unexpected and out of the box that people don't do, that shouldn't work and are against the rules.
Right.
But just make it so much better.
Right. Yeah, it's like One Froggy Evening. Like I rewatched that and man, it is so brilliantly written. Mm-hmm. And this is, I have to give, granted our episode was not about Looney Tunes in general, but I have to give a shout out to Michael Maltese, who wrote almost all of the Looney Tunes cartoons and worked with Chuck Jones, with Tex Avery and Fritz Freeling. And he was such a genius and such an incredible writer.
Unsung hero.
Yeah. But One Froggy Evening is just so brilliant. No dialogue, except for him singing. But like, but it's just so, it's directed so well. Yeah. It's done so well.
It is such a easily followable but deep story about greed.
Yeah.
It's like if you see something miraculous and your first instinct is to profit off it, well, you're not going to do well.
Bad news.
Yeah, it's very it's clever, it's deep, and it's 100% Chuck Jones.
Yeah, and so emotive. When you finally get to the part where he goes to the talent guy and he tries to get the thing to work and it doesn't, and then you can hear the singing, and then they cut to him and he's just so depressed because the frog won't sing for anybody else.
Oh, but he's just going to town with him. He's just like,
it's so brilliant.
Yeah.
It's a great, and it's interesting because Michigan J. Frog, technically that was the only cartoon during the heyday that he was in, although he has appeared in others since then.
Yes, and he also speaks in the other ones too.
Yeah. I was able to appreciate more of the writing this time around, and even Duck Amuck and stuff like that. Like it was interesting, and how they made it seem so simple to tell this story that was so deep with no dialogue.
Yeah, definitely, and it was funny too because Chuck Jones did take these silent characters, basically silent, like Michigan J. Frog and Wile E. Coyote, and gave them a voice.
Yeah,
because I remember Wile E. Coyote, super genius, and he would come in with his little card and hello, he would be, I think he was like a consultant for Daffy Duck or something in one. He was trying to help him destroy Buck. I don't know, but there was always, I think he also went against, but they did a lot of different pairings to kind of, spice up to spice up the formula a bit. They would do different matchups. Like world wrestling or whatever. It's Wile E. Coyote against Bugs, but
they were doing like, what they did like 400 of these, so like it was more than that.
Well,
more than that. I mean,
because Chuck Jones alone did 300,
right?
Plus.
But I mean, they were producing so many of these that like eventually you have to try different things and do different things.
But there were so many amazing and memorable characters. The monster with the red hair and the tennis shoes.
Oh yeah. I
love that, and I so wanted to see what was under all that hair. When they would parody actors, and nobody knows these actors anymore, but I remember like Peter Lorre. He was in Casablanca.
Oh, he was fantastic in Casablanca.
He was always just such a little hey Rick, but they would always use him as like the creepy scientist. Or they would get Abbott Costello, or they would get, but it would be like Rabbit and Costello, and they'd be rabbits, but it was so much fun. You didn't know what you were going to get, man. It was just like jumping into an imagination pool, and you don't know anything. It's just anything could happen, and it was. And the one thing that you knew, it was going to be funny.
Right. Yeah. I mean, no matter what, it was gonna. I think it was the Witch Hazel. I think it was. Yeah. Which I think it was June Foray. If I'm
Yeah.
But like, who was fantastic too.
Oh yeah.
She's a phenomenal voice actor.
She did. I mean, she was the the foil for Mel Blanc.
Yeah.
She did all of the female voices.
She was. Yeah. She kept up with him.
She did Granny, and she did. It was just. She did old ladies so well. I mean, Granny is such a sweet character. I love the Granny, Tweety, Sylvester cartoons because Granny would always go out. I'm going out to the thing, and then you stay away from that bird. And then Tweety Bird was such a dick.
Yeah,
honestly, if you watch those cartoons, he was completely antagonizing him. Granted, Sylvester wanted to eat him. I get it.
Sure.
I mean, there's a dynamic going on there that's from the dawn of time.
That was
birds and cats.
The
instincts.
The other Michigan J. Frog that's available on HBO Max right now is from the Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries.
Ooh.
Which the irony, the short's only 9 minutes long, and literally the opening song for Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries is like 2.5 minutes long.
Nice.
It goes on so long, but it was a mystery about Michigan J. Frog, and it's fun, but it was done in like the mid '90s. But it's just funny. I mean, but again, that's like them having to repackage or like even with like the Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner Hour or whatever it's called. Yeah,
and the lights.
You would have
what heights we'll hit.
And they wouldn't even. It would just be like repackaging the old stuff, but it would be in a different way, or you'd be seeing.
Well, the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner was just the opening number, and then it was just shorts.
Yeah.
It wasn't
just the cartoons.
Anything new. It was just a different delivery service.
Right.
For these old 40-year-old cartoons that we love, that are timeless, that will never not be funny.
Yeah.
And there was that whole period where they just wanted to sanitize all of them. Too violent with the explosion. It is ridiculous violence. I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. But I grew up with all of this crazy stuff, and it didn't make me want to blow anybody up.
No.
I understood that if I shot somebody in the face, their mouth wouldn't zip around their head, and then, they would put it back into place. It would probably be pretty messy. I don't know. There was just this whole, it just felt like they were trying to take away all the fun stuff for a while. It's too violent and everything needs to be educational and we need to, kids need an escape, man. And I'll tell you this, if I didn't grow up with all these cartoons, I wouldn't have the imagination that I do.
Oh, no. No, definitely. I agree. 100% agree. I mean, I was, and maybe it's because we were smart enough, but like I knew it was a cartoon. Like I knew that it was animated, and I knew that that's not real.
Yes.
And it's entertaining. And like, sure, sometimes I want to shoot somebody in the face and watch their mouth spin around, but I know I can't do that.
Yes. It's absurd. It's absurdist humor.
Yeah.
It's just slapstick to the nth degree. And people fall and blow up, and they're trying to eat each other because that's what animals do. What is so great is these anthropomorphized animals are still animals, even though they're clever and they can talk. They still keep their instincts, which is what's great.
Right.
A dog still has to be a dog, even if the dog is brilliant enough to write a book. You know what I mean? It's just like that's what's so great about it.
He's still a dog. Yeah, they still have instincts. Like Sylvester's still going to try to eat him, no matter when he can, no matter if they work together or not. He's gonna try to eat him, much like the coyote trying to eat the roadrunner. I mean, that was literally the through line for every single one of their cartoons.
And you know what I always thought? It was like, he's so stringy. He wouldn't make a good meal. He'd be all ropey and, you know, find yourself a fat little prairie dog or something. You know, it's gonna save yourself the time, buddy.
I really honestly, and I think it's and probably why, like the One Froggy Evening, I loved the Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner stuff. Like that was my favorite. But I think it was because there was no dialogue, and it was you had to tell a story without being able to tell it. And, and I loved that stuff. And granted, yes, it was just gags over and over and over again, but it was great.
But a brilliant use of music and sound effects and everything came together. There's so many non-dialogue cartoons from Warner Brothers and Looney Tunes. There was just tons of them. And what made them work so well was the energy and the music and the sound effects all worked together in such a way that was just energy in your face. You know, it was just like bam, bam, boom, boom. You know, pulling out guns and bigger guns and bigger guns. And it's just, the violence showed the absurdity of violence pretty much.
Yes.
You know, and it's like, especially the ones where it was like, he pulls out a big gun and he pulls out a bigger gun and he pulls out a bigger, until they're on the earth and there's nothing.
It's just gun.
And it's like, well, where do we go from here?
Yeah, what do you do? Yeah.
And it's like they blow up the whole planet and all that's left is Bugs Bunny and, you know, Marvin the Martian and his little dog. And, they're just hanging off of this tiny little chunk of the planet, and it's like, okay, what do we do now?
What do you do? Good job, we finished it. Yeah.
You know what? I just wanted to mention quickly. It's just in my brain for some reason, but comics. Like, did you ever have Silly Putty?
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's still around, but man, Silly Putty was such a staple. Like you had to have some Silly Putty because it was very useful. You could roll it into a ball, and it was a super ball, and then you could mush it on the comics, and you could it would like do a Xerox of the comics.
It would pull the ink. Yeah.
You know, and then eventually your Silly Putty would be all gross from all the colors and stuff. Or whatever.
Always working it in, trying to get that out. It's like
I always had Silly Putty. I had like different kinds of Silly Putty. I had my paper putty, which I would use from papers, you know, and then I would have I would keep a little bit in the secret cargo hold of my Kenner Millennium Falcon.
Oh, yeah.
And then I would use, like, when Han and Chewie on their adventures, if they went to, like, a water planet, then I could mold scuba gear for them. Or if I just wanted to put a pair of gloves on a hand, you know, which would help hold his gun in better.
Oh,
you know, it was hard holding. I was such a weirdo. But, you know, that was the thing, is like Silly Putty could be anything you wanted it to be.
It was fantastic.
It smelled so good.
I loved Silly Putty. The consistency and the weirdness of it.
Did you ever put it in your mouth? I would put it in my mouth and chew on it sometimes.
I would do bites. I do like impressions of my teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I got knows now. I'm like thinking about it now. I'm like, what the hell was I thinking?
It was non-toxic.
I know. But it was just like, this thing I'm going to stick in my mouth.
Because I knew kids were going to put it in their stupid mouths.
Yeah.
Because we're dumb.
Silly Putty was, if I remember correctly, and I did zero research on this, but I'm pretty sure it was invented by accident. I think it was supposed to be for, like, they were trying to make a cleaner or something. It
was like an epoxy or something, I think.
And it was a total just like, it was like, you can pretty much do, I mean, it's just this weird lump of stuff.
Yeah, so great. You don't buy lumps of stuff anymore.
No.
Now you would have, like, Wi-Fi enabled Silly Putty that you'd have to get software updates all the time, you know, and it'd be like, oh. Well, it's not, because you'd have to use it on your computer screen somehow to copy the thing, because nobody has print anymore. It'd be like Silly Putty 2.0.
They make a magnetic Silly Putty now, which is, if you ever see videos of it, it's really interesting, because it just like becomes this weird living thing where it suddenly envelops the magnet.
Yeah.
Like it's,
That sounds cool.
It's creepy and weird. Yeah. But I love Silly Putty. It was great.
Yeah. That was another, you had to use it with your comics, man.
Oh,
you had
always.
to have your Silly Putty, because it'd be like, that's how you'd save your favorite comic for a minute and a half.
That's just like, you would do it and then look at it and be like,
this is
okay,
awesome.
Like, what do I do now?
Roll up.
And then it goes away. It's like, wow, I can read it backwards now. Yay. What's the point? You go to the mirror and look at it and be like, hey, it's the thing that I was literally just looking at.
That's so bad.
Oh, but that was something else with the papers in relation to the Silly Putty, is that I loved, you always knew it was a really good like comic section when you finish and your hands were just full of ink.
Oh yeah,
like your fingertips were just black
That's
from
just,
like
yeah.
I love that tactile. It's just this is the sad part of the digital world is we're losing these things that were so tactile and
it makes it a lot harder to pay attention. It makes it a lot harder for people to pay attention to what they're reading when they're reading it on their phone
Yeah.
or on their computer because it's naturally kind of set up as a browsing, scanning thing, and we're used to passively watching screens, which is television.
Right.
You know, I'm sure that the new generations are more geared towards
Yeah.
this kind of stuff because they grew up with a different set of electronics.
Yeah.
But, you hold the paper, you have to read the paper, you have to turn the page. It's like it's reading a book. If I'm reading a book on a Kindle or on a I used to read a lot of classics on my phone and breaks when I would temp. And it was hard to pay attention. But if I'm holding a book, man, I'm reading a book. And I do not purchase books digitally. I will buy it. I will wait until I can get it on hopefully hardback because I love the feeling of those. But I can't. Books are meant to be read, not scrolled. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I agree. I do. I have a Kindle, but I have a ton of books on it. Usually free books that I put on. But like, I'll take it with me when I'm traveling and stuff.
I'm
but
sure
for
it's
the
great.
most part, it's not. But it's not the same at all.
Yeah, my mom uses that.
It's a little better than like on the phone, but like even then, it's just not the same.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's just not that feeling of turning pages. Like, how many pages do I have left? And it's like, oh, look at my page counter. But it's, it's just that. I don't know. And also to support the authors that I, really enjoy. I want to own their books. I reread books. I think.
Right.
I think I like physical media. I was born in a time of physical media. I peaked in a time of physical media, and I just still love it. Like, I'm kind of bummed that I got GTA digitally, GTA 5 on PS5 digitally, because I like having the physical disc.
Yeah.
I like steel boxes. I like all that nerd stuff, man. And you don't get that nerd stuff digitally. Who cares about a digital art book or you get an avatar. I got to see Bugs Bunny live with a 65-piece orchestra.
Nice.
And they projected the cartoons on a huge screen and then played, with the dialogue and everything, cut out all the music and then just played everything live. It was insane. It was so magical.
That's cool.
To watch that.
Yeah.
It was just a whole new way to enjoy something that you love so much. It was
totally
a celebration of some of the, and they, of course what's Opera Doc, and they played all the biggies, and
of course.
If it ever comes back around, I don't know if they still do that kind of stuff.
I don't think so.
Ooh, I would definitely go. It was an experience. As a Looney Tunes fan, it's an unbelievably unique and wonderful experience. I love seeing animation on the big screen, especially stuff that's underground. I remember I started going. There used to be this underground film festival, Spike and Mike's Underground.
It started as the Spike and Mike's Twisted Animation Festival.
Exactly.
And then they changed it to there's two of them now. There's a classic animation festival which just shows all the old ones from back in the day, and then there's ones that do a new. But they tour essentially. They go around and they tour, and it came to my college quite a bit in the 90s. But I know it started in San Diego in the late 70s.
Yeah.
And then finally started going national around like 89 or 90.
Yeah, so I saw it in high school for the first time. I think it was my buddy John Crosby, my cool pal, one of the smart coolies. And it was a revelation because there's all these adult shorts. There's Beavis and Butthead for the first time. There's just these really, I can't, like, so many of them are hard to remember because it was so long ago. But they were just bloody and violent and dirty, and they just kept going, and the guys would host it, and they were weirdos, and it was just this awesome, weird celebration of weird animation. And that plus, a couple of years earlier, you get your VHS, and you go down to your video store. I remember the first video that I ever rented from this weird video. It wasn't like a Blockbuster or anything. It was like one of those boutique-y. It was so weird. I remember the first time going in and just being like, I could rent any of these movies and watch any of them. And it was almost overwhelming. So I picked the the Ralph Bakshi Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Which I wouldn't say is kind of adult animation, but it's not dirty, but it's pretty violent and it's challenging.
But it's not aimed towards children.
No, it's exactly. Yeah. And so that was kind of titillating. And then from there was Heavy Metal.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that one was another bunch of shorts that for me and probably you too, it combined these crazy shorts with sci-fi.
Yeah.
It was like watching dirty Star Wars.
It was like weird sci-fi fantasy. Like it was super weird. Heavy Metal was essentially like a comic book magazine.
Oh yeah,
I guess.
I had. Oh man,
started in the
'70s,
and like it was fantastic. It was very cutting edge. Yeah. A lot of Frank Frazetta doing the very large chested women and giant barbarian men and all this stuff. Like, but it was good, and it definitely. Heavy Metal for me was the first time that I was like, wow, you can actually do this.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there's that whole bit with Harold Ramis and somebody else just snorting space cocaine.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just...
running around. The weird...
And there's that whole crazy, like, that hero guy. That's
John Candy, who's a little nerd that turns into oh my God, I almost remember his name. It's so great, though, because he's just this giant dude, and he's naked, and the first thing he does is have sex with somebody, and he's just like, oh, this is the world now.
It's just crazy.
It's just so bizarre.
But the combination of those things, led into, and getting, the free paper, the reader or whatever, and reading underground comics, those were the things that showed me, okay, animation and comics, they can grow with me. Like I don't have to give that up like I did my Star Wars guys. I can move forward and still pursue the love of this.
Yeah.
Not that I was embarrassed about loving Looney Tunes or anything, but I wasn't watching the real Ghostbusters and Transformers anymore, or Inspector Gadget, or Garfield. It's just like you grew out of those things, but you grew into the others. Looney Tunes always going to be there,
Yeah. Yeah.
Certain things, Scooby-Doo, always going to be there, the classics. But as you get older, you want something more challenging.
Yeah.
And there has really been some great adult animation.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, even beyond... for me, it started with The Simpsons, which I felt like it was aimed towards kids, but then I was like, it really wasn't. No. It was a family sitcom, essentially.
It was one of those very unique entities that can be enjoyed in many different levels.
Yes.
You can enjoy it as a straight, dumb, slapstick, family dysfunction comedy, or you can go deeper and see it as a there's different layers to it that you can cut into and get as deep as you want.
Yeah, it was interesting. I definitely watched it when it first started. I remember being excited that there was a cartoon on primetime.
Yeah.
Like it was
you were younger. You were what, 13?
I was about 13. Yeah. And and my mom was, I think she was concerned about it, but it was like, well, it's on primetime. Like it's not, it's a cartoon. It can't be that bad.
Right.
And God knows. Looking back at the first seasons now, they're very tame in comparison to a lot of the stuff now.
Oh, 100%. But it was also stuff that was not done on TV. Kids didn't talk back to their parents.
Totally.
Little boys didn't, cause pranks that destroyed, the gymnasium.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, even though it's a fantastical cartoon, again, with anything new, fear. The parents. What about the children? The children. And it's like, now all of those people are dead, and their grandchildren are like, what about the children? But seriously, though, it is anytime there's something that grabs people in a unique way and is something new, there's always going to be the fear mongers that are going to freak out about it.
Yeah. It's interesting because
slippery slopers.
I had, and I know you watched this too, but the show Invincible was on Amazon Prime about superheroes and all this wonderful performance by J.K. Simmons.
Oh yeah,
but watching that, I had the same feeling I did while watching Heavy Metal because it was insanely violent, and I was just like, oh my god, like they're like, this is a cartoon that could have been made. The style could have been done in like the 80s.
Oh yeah.
But it was suddenly like a whole different level, and it was like, oh, okay. I mean, granted, the writing was fantastic, and it's really well done. But
they intentionally, I think, made it kind of a G.I. Joey
no
feel to it.
For people like you and I, who was like, yeah, you grew up on this stuff, and like, it has that. But it was that kind of, I haven't had that kind of revelation feel in a while, and it was nice to be like, oh, like, they're going there and doing this.
Yeah. Well, I think The Simpsons paved the way for all of this.
Yeah.
Its success led to Liquid TV and, I'll just say Howard the Duck, but Duckman and The Critic and, all these different shows, Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah. I mean, even
Ren and Stimpy.
Even to like King of the Hill and now with like Bob's Burgers.
And Family Guy, which is basically The Simpsons, you know?
Yeah.
Family Guy was horrible at the beginning. It was bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't clever. It was just dumb. But then it got to be better, and it found its own voice.
Sure.
And the funniest thing, this is what I love, is whether it's Family Guy or it's South Park or any other long-running animated show, they always reference, well, The Simpsons did it first. Because they did. Like, and South Park did a whole episode where it was like, well, The Simpsons did it, and it was like, well, what are we supposed to do? So it's so crazy that The Simpsons is so ingrained into the zeitgeist that other cartoons have to include it,
right? Because
they have
to, yeah,
integral to their existence. I think the success of The Simpsons gave these different networks, especially cable too, because a lot of cable. USA and these different fledgling networks at the time were looking for content,
right?
And animation was kind of the way to go because it was a cheaper way to do it. In some ways, and Klasky Supo was everywhere because I think they did Duckman.
I think so.
But there was these boutique animation studios that were doing stuff, and there was these unique looks, and it was a really good time for animation on TV, and it just kind of continued because we keep getting Bob's Burgers is great.
Which has a movie coming out.
Yeah.
An actual, which is going to be crazy.
Hopefully I won't cut up my elbow and have to get stitches before that one. But, and the Great Wild or Great North. Or
in the
whatever.
Great North.
That's a really fun show, too. That's really growing on me. And
it hasn't grabbed me as much as it has you.
I just love Jenny Slate. It's a different kind of premise. It's a different kind of family show, and I think it's going to take a little time to kind of find it.
Yeah. I mean, it's something that I'll watch eventually. I'm not discounting it. I did watch most of the first season, I think, but it just didn't quite grab me the way like Bob's Burgers did.
It's different, yeah. I mean, Bob's Burgers has got such a tight cast and such a tight premise.
Is so good, So
and
brilliant.
H. John Benjamin is, again, it's funny that he's one of the greatest voice guys, but his voice is never.
It's
not H. John
literally
Benjamin.
the same.
It's always the same kind of, whether it's Archer or Bob, it's just a different pace. Either he's just got a higher pace or he's got a little bit slower pace. And so it's like it's just his voice.
But he does some of the best characters. He's great.
It doesn't matter. I mean, his voice is so recognizable, and he is great at dry voiceover humor. He's amazing.
Yeah, it was interesting because really that did lead into, because you can follow that path between The Simpsons to like South Park and then to like the Renaissance again with like Adult Swim in the late 90s and like them willing to do just crazy stuff and like whatever.
Venture Brothers, one of the greatest. I'm a huge Johnny Quest fan as a kid. Loved Johnny Quest. So cool. Like a James Bond kid, man.
Yeah.
And this is the perfect parody of that. And talk about whack, man. That show just got weirder and weirder and weirder, but so intricately done. And just, if you haven't seen it, they're like 10-minute episodes. Yeah. I think there's 5 seasons or something. You can jam through it in a weekend.
Yeah, it's not very many. Yeah.
There's just so much great animation. There wouldn't have been an Adult Swim. There wouldn't have been a Liquid TV. There wouldn't have been any of this stuff without The Simpsons. And even though The Simpsons isn't raw and edgy as a lot of this stuff, it doesn't need to be.
But it was the fact that it gave these people the ability of like, you might be able to make money off this. Like, it showed the suits that
adult cartoons could be profitable.
They could be exploited too.
Exactly, and they did that. It's such a crazy way. What a fun month.
Yeah, it's
right?
been really great to go back and
Yeah.
watch this stuff and
To see the old Peanuts cartoons, especially like the little folks and the older stuff.
oh
and
my god, the strips! I spent hours just reading the little folks strips.
forgot how poignant and awesome. I mean, you forget how great this stuff is because it just becomes cliche.
Yeah.
And there's so many things after that are the same thing, Fox. There's just so many different iterations of the Peanuts and ripoffs and whatever. And the Peanuts, is just probably for a lot of you, it was just this splashy thing in the cartoon, the reruns, and it was a lot of Lucy and the football, and didn't get a lot of the deep stuff or the Snoopy animation. But there is definite worth in going back and reading that stuff, because all of your favorite comics now, a lot of them wouldn't exist without that kind of philosophical bent. The shift from just gags to dialogue.
You have a less chance of having like a Calvin and Hobbes if it wasn't for Peanuts, and that ability to be able to go into the philosophical stuff. And by the time it came out, you were primed for that, because it was like, even though you might not even have known it, it was like, because Calvin and Hobbes, like, he just flat out was like, and now we're going to talk about philosophy. And it was like, people reading the comics were like, yeah, this is good.
It was thick, dense dialogue. Same thing with Bloom County.
Yeah.
There was thick, dense dialogue.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of stuff going on. I mean, Bloom County, it was like mayoral races. And, and guys coming out. And,
God, that was,
Bill the Cat. I mean, that cartoon was absolutely groundbreakingly amazing. It was like taking Doonesbury and turning it into a Mayberry-esque adult crazy world. Like, you have so many great... Opus the Penguin. Man.
Yeah.
You're never going to forget him.
You know the guy, I can't remember his name, but the guy who created Bloom County went to my college and actually lived there while I was going to college there.
He broke his back.
Yeah. Bill the Cat was based off an Iowa City guy.
Nice.
Like some weird dude that he knew.
Berkeley breathed to breathe?
Breathed or whatever.
Yeah.
But Berkeley breathed. I don't know how to say it. But like he was a weird dude. Yeah. I mean, I never saw him. I just knew he was in town.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bill the Cat was based off some dude who I think was long dead by the time I went to college. But, yeah, it was just weird.
Which I love, because that was basically just teasing Kathy.
Yeah. I do want to give a shout out to my dad, who texted me after our Chuck Jones episode saying that he had spent the last couple hours watching Looney Tunes cartoons on HBO Max.
Oh, I'm psyched. I'm glad.
He was re-experiencing his childhood. He was super happy.
That's
about it.
awesome. I mean, that's the whole point of all of this. This is a celebration of these guys and these things that they've done, and a celebration of the things that have come after. These are things to enjoy.
Yeah.
These aren't things to pick apart and to be a jerk about. Like I told you when we were doing the graining episode, I can't stand the Simpsons haters that haven't watched the show in 15 years.
Yeah.
That's just, you're just being a jerk, man. People, it's like on social media, when you're like, oh, such and such was my favorite movie, and then somebody's like, that movie's a piece of crap.
Great.
So what? Why do you have to come poop on people's parades? I just don't get.
I don't either.
Okay, cool. You didn't like it.
Too much negativity.
Does that make you feel better that you pooped on this guy's post? It's okay, man, to love stuff. It's okay for things to change. It's just the way things go. Nothing is going to remain the same. The Looney Tunes of today aren't the Looney Tunes of yesterday, but you're getting Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
The Peanuts cartoons that they're making on Apple TV, the Snoopy Show, it's not Chuck Schultz, but it's still the spirit, and it's still good stuff, and it's still telling stories the way he would tell them.
Yeah. I mean, we during Christmas, we watched that super bizarre Mickey Mouse thing that was made in the last few years. It was genius. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
But it's not the same. I mean, they wouldn't have done that 70 years ago, but, like, it's great.
No, but we have a different kind of innovation happening now. And we have new, we still have hopefully we'll have the Simpsons for many years to come.
Yeah.
And, we'll always have the Looney Tunes. Mm-hmm. We'll always have the Peanuts. Do yourself a favor and go re-experience some of this stuff. If it's from your youth and it really will make you feel good. If it's something that you've never really experienced, experience it, because I think you really dig it.
Yeah,
and you will see pathways from these things to your favorite modern day adventures and
Yeah.
entertainment. But yeah, I mean, hey, we're always going to talk about animation. We're big old comic nerds.
Yeah.
We're big old animation nerds. And there's no shame. I mean, my birthday's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an old man, but I will never stop watching cartoons or playing video games. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. I'm going to frick this word up so bad.
Anthropomorphize?
These
Anthropomorphize.
Anthropomorphized? We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Super Friends, already in progress.